Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Manchester United 0. Yet another defeat for United. Yet another miserable Premier League game in this season. And it's just getting more and more concerning, isn't it? More and more worrying. Manchester United are just in total, complete free-for-all. You're looking at your captain, Bruno Fernandes, getting sent off. You're looking at an abject performance of no real quality, no real chances created, and just... Again, what a miserable Boxing Day experience that was. But this is the full-time view. Members can call in and have their say. If you do wish to become a member, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also pinned in the chat. If you are a member and you do want to call in, you can go to the United View YouTube page, go over to the community tab, and you can find the link there. It's the full-time view link, but only members can see it. Let's get straight into it. I'm sure a lot of people will want to have their say this evening. Let's start off with Amorim. Amorim, Merry Christmas. What did you make of all that?
Hope you had a wonderful time as well, Owen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know, Owen. I'm thinking of cancelling my United View membership.
Don't punish us. Don't punish us.
No, but oh God, I don't know what. Well, I do know what to start. Actually. I want to start on the players, because for me, some of these players are genuinely playing at championship level. Like Rasmus Højlund first half, I really wanted to punch the wall because he could not hold the ball. He was getting outmaneuvered. He could not head the ball. I mean, what was the point? We might as well played Igalo or Weghorst. I put a super chat in. I said Weghorst would be doing better than Højlund or Xerxes, and I firmly believe that. So I'm pissed off with that. Sorry for my language, but then there's other players that we need to talk about. So that's the top, and then on the back, Onana conceding goal. I thought Bayern was a problem, and I knew he wasn't going to be our first choice keeper. So you can sort of not forgive, but can accept that he's a rubbish keeper anyway. But for Onana to do the same mistake again, not even moving when the corner's coming towards him, it's just pathetic. And I agree with Owen with KG that we need to find another keeper. So there's another position now where we need to fill in. I could ramble on, but what do you think of those two players first of all, Owen?
No, I agree. I mean, I remember having the Onana conversation a couple of weeks ago, and the pushback was, "Oh no, you're being too harsh. He's been one of our players of the season." And look, obviously, I get it that he had kept clean sheets and what have you, but it's kind of by the by, isn't it? If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And if you're going to have a team that truly competes, then your goalkeeper needs to be better than Onana. And also, but even we're not even a team that truly competes. We're 14th. We can't even have that conversation about if you're going to be a team that wins stuff. We're not even at the stage of winning stuff. We don't win football matches, like let alone trophies or anything like that. So you're right with that. With Højlund as well, I mentioned before that I don't think he's terrible or anything like that, but I do think that he's not the guy, but I think also he's unfortunate in the sense of there is just no service, no creativity in that team. Every single time you think that you're going to get into a good area, we just turn backwards, Amorim. We just pass it backwards. Like the possession stats, they're so misleading, aren't they? They're almost fake to a point.
Yeah. So I don't know what I was listening to the pre-match, or actually during the match. KG was reading out some wonderful stats, but I don't want KG to be fooled by stats. He needs to do the eye test, and for me, I am now concerned about the manager as well as these players. Like Bruno Fernandes being sent off. I said to you a while back that he's not my captain going forward. I'm thinking that should be captain? Should it be the first name on the team sheet? I'm doubting that now because I don't know where he fits in the system. And to give away 2 yellow cards like that and to be sent off 3 times this season, and we're all in December, it's pathetic from our leader. So here's one. But the 2 other people that I want, one's controversial. I think we need to start talking about Manu again. I thought Manu was really poor as well, and I'm not sure whether is he out of form or is he not fitting the system. I'm not sure, and people not picking up on that. People got these agendas that certain players if there's certain players that they like, they won't speak out against them. But if there's players that even if you like those players, you need to be confident enough to say, look, this guy's not having a good game. And Manu was one of those this evening. So yeah, I'm just worried about that, and I'm worried that I've saw it in the chat, Owen. I don't know if you saw the live chat whilst reading. Some of the United fan base are now saying that what Ruben Amorim should do is change for the 3-4-3 system. I'm saying no, he can't do that.
No.
He's got to stick to his principles, he's got to see it out, and he needs to be back in the January window. I can't remember a United window recently, or where we got 2, 3, or 4 signings, but it needs to happen in this window. If they really want to back the manager and believe in his ideas, they need to back him this January window.
No, I would agree. Like I said before, I don't think he can, compromise on his shape or his formation. I do think there's almost a game of chicken going on now. I think it's similar to the Ralph Rangnick situation, whereby he tried to implement something, tried to get players running, and they basically said no. And it's just a case of who blinks first. Does he change or do the players change? And I think you're right. I think what Ineos have to do is, as much as they can, go into that window, try and find a way to move players on, try to find a way to bring players in and back him and back the coach. You brought him in for a reason. You believed in his system. Go get him the players for it. But it's a tough time. It's a rough time as well. I mean, just finally, with the games we've got coming up, we've got Newcastle, then Liverpool. Are you concerned that now we're going to be on a bit of a losing run, even worse so than we are already?
I am concerned. I am concerned, but I'm not. I'm borderline thinking whether this is actually crisis, or whether this is actually the storm that we need to go through. There's two ways to look at it. Some people will say if we lost against Liverpool and Newcastle and Liverpool, it's crisis. But for me, I think that will happen. But it's more about, do we back this manager? If we are willing to suffer, and it maybe we lose, but we lose based on his principles, then so be it. But then we need to start looking at Ineos and say, look, Ineos, you need to back this manager in the January window. So it's going to be terrible. I won't cancel my United View membership, but I probably won't be watching many full-time views or whatever if it continues like this. I'm not sure. I don't think I can handle it tomorrow, do you?
Yeah, you can't handle it. But look, he's gonna remain loyal, a loyal supporter. Amador, that's what he is. Big up Amador. My style advice says, Owen, watching United would be much worse without you, bro. Thank you for at least making us laugh. Things will improve under this coach, I hope. Well, thank you very much, my style advisor. There was at one point there was a rumor that was me, that I was my style advisor giving myself compliments. I'm not, I can assure you. But big up to him. Red Baron says it's all my fault and K-Flow's fault, possibly Riri. Well, it's got to be someone's fault, hasn't it? It's got to be someone's fault. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Show. Just when we think it can't get any worse, it continues to. What are your thoughts on all of that? Are we relegation candidates at this point?
I mean, I think if we're still in this position come end of February, then yeah, we're in a relegation scrap. But I think we'll end up. This is very similar to the season Chelsea had when they end up staying up with, I think, 3 or 4 games to spare. I think that's probably where we'll end up. I think that's where the squad is right now. I think that's what the quality of the squad is. Yeah, today is not really a surprise, which is probably the worst thing that we can say, because it should be a surprise when you produce a performance like that and a result like that. But Fleck got it spot on. 2-0. Perfect prediction. Yeah, I mean, I think the first half again was pretty much a non-event game. I don't think we attacked very well. I don't think there was very little quality in the game. And I think as soon as the red card happened, I was watching it with my brother-in-law. We basically just said to each other, "Yeah, we're done," because we're not the type of team that can just be like, you know what, let's just, I don't know, get a 0-0. Worst case, let's because even within 2 minutes of that, I remember they scored a goal even though it didn't count. So we weren't very resilient at all, which we never are. So yeah, today's performance is just another indication of how we failed as a club, really. Yeah, when it comes to years of bad recruitment, but I do fear for Amorim. I really do. I honestly think there's a reality where he doesn't make the end of the season. I do, and that's not me saying that he shouldn't, because I don't put this on Amorim. Or at least if you're gonna portion percentage, it'll be a very small percentage on him, in my opinion. But I can see a reality where if the defeats keep coming, because we've got Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal next, that would be 6 straight.
Do you worry it's a bit of it could be a bit of a Graham Potter situation, essentially, whereby there was an expectation of it's not going to get great, but we didn't think it was going to get like this, and then that's where people start to worry, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can see. I mean, look, I never want to judge it on. I don't judge the entire fan base on United View chat, but you can see people are turning on Amorim already. They're saying, we want Rude back, or the usual stuff. Rude one his
revisionism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rude won his interim games against the mighty Leicester twice. You know that mighty Leicester team, Owen. He won those
Yeah,
games. So
yeah.
obviously,
And
so
Pout.
obviously,
And Pout.
so yeah, so we know based on this that Rude was qualified clearly, and obviously Ten Hag was never the problem because the last 18 months were very enjoyable under Ten Hag. So we know this. But look, I really hope Ineos don't panic and they just see as look, we just need to really believe in this guy because I do think, if we back him, and it's going to take a lot of patience because, especially look, but with every defeat that comes, we know how long the process is going to be, right? But I don't know. I think ever since the Ashworth thing, I've lost a lot of confidence in Ineos, and I don't know whether they have more patience and more sensibility than the Glazers. I don't know. Maybe they do. And this season will show us because, let's say if we do finish 12th, 13th, maybe even 15th, and they stick with him, then I'll be like, all right, cool. You're going to back this guy and you're going to start to build his squad because, right now, if we just talk about the game for a little bit again, I can't think of a player that stood out today, really.
No.
We can start with the captain.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you make of the Bruno red card and third time this season he's been sent off?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think as a captain, you'd be hard pressed to find a worse captain in the Premier League. I really do think that. I'm trying to think, is there a worse captain than Bruno in the Premier League? I don't think there is. I don't think he's a guy that, even after the first yellow, you saw straight away the complaining. And I'm just thinking, take your yellow. You fouled him from behind. It's a blatant yellow. Take it, shut up, motivate your fellow players. And then the second yellow to do that when you're on the yellow is just another indication of how he has very little respect for his teammates, very little respect for the club, and very little respect for his role as captain, in my opinion. But again, it's one of them things where even when we saw when he got sent off, actually it's weird. Before he got sent off, after he got sent off, there was almost no difference. I don't know what that says about Bruno, but we saw when, like, let's say, people say don't play Bruno, and I get that. But let's say if Garnacho starts, is it going to be any better? No. You could play Xerxes in the 10. Is he going to be any better? No. Højlund today up front, did he touch the ball? I honestly do not remember him actually touching the ball. He may have had a touch, maybe if he was lucky. Onana in goal. I don't know what else there's to say about him, but apparently it's just one mistake that he makes. So, the defense looks shaky as a unit. Midfield, there's no athleticism, no ability to hold the ball, no ability to pass the ball, no ability to run with the ball, no ability to create with the ball. There's nothing in the team where for Amorim to base a foundation on. And that's where I think he's struggling. Like, there's nothing where he can say, we do this well, whether it's defensive, attacking, and he doesn't say, I'm going to use that as the foundation and we build on it. There's nothing to build on. And that's where I feel for Amorim.
Yeah, no, I agree. Big up, Sha. Appreciate you as always calling in. Fat Thor says, my mum had a fall on Christmas. After spending a whole day in hospital, I decided to watch the game at 1:30 a.m. instead of resting. Hope for something to cheer me up, but deflate me more 4 a.m. now. Sorry to hear that, Fat Thor. Hopefully your mum's doing okay. I'm sure the rest of the chat will echo those sentiments. And yeah, sorry United couldn't even help out with that either. That sucks. Hopefully she recovers quickly. Big up to you. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics. Merry Christmas, my friend. We didn't get a Christmas wish or victory or present or gift or anything really. What did you make of what you saw?
Owen, do you speak French?
Un peu.
So let me say this: le performance est très hot garbage. All right,
yes,
that was
I got that one.
An awful performance when you look at the critical players in our team, because you could say, I don't want to come here and start saying positives, but I feel like there should be some people that we should shield from the criticism. And I just want to say in general, the back line of Yoro, Maguire and Licha were decent today. And then Ugarte in front of them. I think those people should be relatively proud about the effort and the performance they put in. Aside from that, everyone pretty much played a below par game. Some people worse than others. I saw a lot of people in the chat comment for Kobe Mainoo, and it's funny because last season when he was having his breakout season, I remember telling guys like, listen, Kobe Mainoo is going to have, peaks and he's going to have troughs. He's a really young player, but we have seen his what a lot of players, not just us fans, but Man United players, Man United midfielders have said seems like generational talents. We've seen his performance for England. So what's the use in being so negative about Kobe Mainoo? Yes, he had a bad game. Yes, there are things he has to improve. He has to improve his long passing and his final ball and, just general reading of the game. But he's really young. He didn't have a good game, but we need to be focusing on the senior players, in that team, namely Bruno, namely Onana. Those I think are the two players today that need to look at themselves, in the mirror. I know that this is a controversial take at the moment, but to some extent, Amorim, because if you actually see the match view you guys were hosting right before halftime, right before the second half commenced, I was like, hey, we could come back, but it's a huge temperament issue. If I was ruthless Amorim, I would take Bruno off at halftime because something's not right with this guy. And lo and behold, a minute after I posted that chat, Bruno gets a red card. So I feel like Amorim should have been braver in that situation and put on Eriksen. Obviously hindsight is 2020, but you could just tell Bruno he could have even got sent off after the first yellow, by barging into the ref. So it was just a poor performance, especially in the final third. And from a leadership perspective, it was devoid of any proper leadership from our players. So yeah, all in all, very disappointing. But I'm not even. It was almost comical, I was laughing because it's just what we come to expect at this point. So yeah. Disappointing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, where do you think we go from here? I mean, do you expect anything to happen in the January transfer window, or a bit like kind of what Sho was saying? Is it going to be like Chelsea were a couple of seasons ago, where this is just going to be us? We're just essentially getting to the summer until we can spend and actually fully back Amorim and get the players he needs for the system.
So where do we go from here? So I think there's two options, or at least there are two ways we can go, and we can do both of them simultaneously. We could, first of all, buy in the January transfer window. I think striker is a huge problem. If there was one position that I think we should strengthen, it's striker, because a lot of people have come to Ten Hag's criticism saying, why the hell did we spend this much on Rasmus and Xerxes? But as he mentioned multiple times, he said this was a collective decision by the club to go young, to suffer now for the long term. Evidently, we have seen the young people cannot carry the weight of Man United in the short term, and the sort of cost of having these players play is so great, because we might miss out not just on Champions League, but on Europe in total, and potentially, it just might, not get relegated, but, we're trending in that direction. So we definitely need someone who's going to come in and be able to take those marginal chances and give us a +1, potential. So I think business has to be done in the January transfer window. The second option is sort of going to be on Amorim's shoulders, how he wants to deal with this, because I feel that it's one thing to say, I'm going to play my system, but it's another thing to tweak some intricacies within that system to best, improve the players. And I think Dalot is a perfect case for this, in the sense that as a touchline wingback who's meant to hold with and meant to, have those final actions and, going into the box, he doesn't have that in his current skill set. He'll need a lot of coaching. However, if there's a way that you can tweak the system, which allows Dalot to have a little bit more ball carrying responsibility, coming inside and combining where he has a lot of his strengths, maybe Amorim needs to implement that in the system. So if there's a way for him to make some concessions, not the way Ten Hag did, where he completely scrapped the whole thing and just made us a counterattack, pragmatic team in the first season, but just give a little bit of freedom to our players to do a little bit of maybe positional rotation. There was this video I watched. I forgot the channel. I think it's Football Meta, and it sort of provided information on what I was seeing with my eyes. Is that Amorim's system is very much a static system, very positional oriented, in a way like Guardiola's is kind of, whereas Ten Hag's was almost the opposite, where it was like almost chaotic, where everyone was always in everyone's positions, switching, pressing from different angles, to the point that when it didn't work out, it was very chaotic. Maybe Amorim needs to realize that these players are sort of like rabid dogs being put in straitjackets, and there might need to be a little bit of give in order to get the best out of them. Now, the balance of that give is what he's gonna have to do to pay the big bucks. Is what he's paid the big bucks for. But I think that's maybe the approach that he might have to take if we're gonna salvage this season. But again, I'm backing him because, like I said, it doesn't matter if we finish 16th, 12th. It would be ludicrous if we sack him again, because that will just show that we have absolutely no leadership from the top, no direction, and the chance of recruiting proper players is going to diminish. So we just have to, we've made our bed, we have to lay in it and just hope that things improve, to be honest.
Hopefully they do. Whether they will or not, hey, I don't know. Big up Chalaboy Comics, as always, coming in. Sub N says we're in a relegation battle. That is a fact. Sub N also says, I will keep backing Ruben till he spends half the money Eric Ten Hag wasted. I mean, wasted, not spent. Today, Ahmad looked half the player in front of Cunha, and I like Ahmad, but we tend to hype players up early. Let's go to another call. Let's go to, he's in fighting shape. He's ready. He's got a picture of himself in this fighting shape. Uncle, what did you think of what you saw today?
Oh, well, I am always in fighting shape,
Yeah.
Especially this Christmas period.
Yes. Yeah,
you can never eat too much,
Yes.
There is always room for more. And when you go on the field of play, you will burn the calories,
Yes.
For Man United, I actually disagree with the last caller who said, what is his name? Ten Hag's football was rotational. I disagree. I think a lot of times when you see Man United players in other positions in Ten Hag's style of play, it is because the opponent has pulled the players out of their original positions. It was not by design. We see Ten Hag play Bruno on the right, and he stays on the right till whenever the match is over. When Bruno plays in the middle, he stays on the middle. So I disagree with that point that Ten Hag's football was rotational. And also, with the point about Amorim making his this thing rotational, it is just like going to a primary school, like my grandson now, who is 3 years, and I'm telling him to do trigonometry and to do complex algebra when he hasn't learned plus and minus. Our players cannot pass the ball to somebody in front of them. You're talking about positional rotation. Is that how do you start teaching a child university mathematics before plus and minus?
Yeah.
You have to take a problem at a time, starting with the fundamental. Our players, and when I was watching this match, I was looking out for good passes. It is so bad that you will see a ball coming to our defenders. Harry Maguire is there. He has 3 players around him, 3 white shirts around him. He will prefer to hoof the ball to wherever. I don't know why their first option or their first alternative is to play the ball and hope. When we were growing up, we used to call it a kick and follow. You kick the ball and then everybody will follow it wherever it goes to.
Yeah.
Our players cannot pass fundamental passes. Not all clearances have to be throwing. or back to the open. Sometimes you calm the ball down, especially when there's nobody, then the opponents are not around you, and especially when you have options around you. So if our players cannot do the fundamental passes, is it rotational of the rotation that you want to teach them? You know,
Well, they can't do anything, can they? I mean, it's not, like you said, it's passes. I mean, you've got the captain that gets sent off, for the third time this season. What are your thoughts on him?
well, my thoughts on Bruno has always remained the same since after that second yellow card. I have said it times without number. It's time. I said it to one of the calls. Bruno is not part of the future of this Ten Hag style of football. Whether he's the only one creating as it stands or not, Bruno is not part of this team going forward. Do you know my frustration in the first half before Bruno got sent off? Whenever Ahmad holds the ball, there was no support. And I'm wondering, where is the fullback? Where is the other 10 that is supposed to pull closer? Because usually when teams play, the idea is to overload one side and then quickly switch the ball. We saw Wolves do it several times to us in this match. They will overload one side and then switch. When one of our tens hold the ball, Bruno should come and support. There will be nobody, no support. Hoyland made runs in the first half, especially. I was watching Hoyland in this match because I told myself if Hoyland misbehaves, I will hold my hands up. Hoyland made runs after runs after runs. Nobody was passing the ball to him. Nobody was giving the ball to Hoyland. He made runs through the center. He made runs through the side. Nothing was going into him. I don't. If we can get passing, Owen, if we can get passing right, if we can get passing right in this team, we have broken a major obstacle, and that is the problem.
We've managed to start doing plus and subtraction. I mean,
We manage plus and minus.
Yeah.
As for Onana, I have nothing to say because he should come back home for the new year. I'll be waiting in his father's house. He should come back. That is all I have to say.
Uncle's gonna be waiting in his father's house. I'm not even going to bring up the possibility of Osimhen or anything like that. It's too much. It's too much. Too soon. It's too soon. Uncle, he's just too much. It's too much. He's run his race. That's fine. Where are we at? Anthony with the super chat says, "Look at our top 5 earners. Do they fit our system? Our top 5 earners is what? That's Casemiro, Rashford. That's already know. Who the rest is Mount in there? I think so. I think Bruno's in there. He's 300, isn't he? Your point being is, I get the point you're trying to make there. Where are we going next? Let's go to GJE. It continues to get worse. What are your thoughts on what you saw today?
Hey Owen, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, typical. I mean, to be honest, last time I was on the call, I think I was a bit upset because of the last game because I was just like, this is ridiculous. But you know, today, I don't know, maybe I'm in the Christmas spirit, but today I actually just found it all funny. I'm actually not even like, I know I have a picture of my chest hurting. It still hurts a bit, but I'm kind of like used to the pain now. It's just like
that's just heartburn. That's just heartburn from Christmas dinner. It's not pain.
Right.
Pain.
Yeah, I've just had a bit too much. Yeah, and I had some leftovers today. So yeah, on Boxing Day. So yeah, so that's what it really is. But honestly, it was just comical. I mean, to be honest, there were bits of the game I started falling asleep in the first half. I was a bit like, oh my god, this is dragging. This is a bit boring. Like nothing's really happening. And then Bruno, man, I don't know what got into Bruno today. It just seems like he was having a bad day. Like Bruno, it's Christmas, lighten up. Like Jesus, man. Like he just lost his head. I think the referee made the right decision. I mean, I did think it was 2 yellows, and the sending off was fair. And yeah, once that happened, I just think it just went downhill. But if anything, I actually felt like once we had 10 men, weirdly enough, I felt like we kind of defended a bit better. It seemed like we came to get us a bit more of a unit. So I think the defense did decent today, but conceding again from another set piece or corner, similar to what we consider against Spurs. Yeah, it's a bit. It's just comical. It's just funny. It's just like it doesn't matter whether it's buy and don't go or whether it's Onana. They still concede the same kind of goals. They still make errors, and then as the game went on, you're kind of thinking, you know what? Maybe United could just maybe nick something out of this. but we just never, that final ball or decision or whatever just never went through. And then of course Wolves counter and yeah, they scored a second goal. So really and truly not a great performance. There's not really much to say. My only concern is that I do worry for Amorim because last time I was on the call, you asked me a great question, which was about Amorim's safety, like about him lasting the job, and I'm now starting to I'm just worry. I just worry for him because I look at the other games. I think we have Newcastle next. We have Liverpool coming up. We have Arsenal in the FA Cup, etc. And I'm just looking at it like, where is he going to pull a win from? And I mean, where's he going to pull a win from without him changing his like system, belief, etc. And a part of me is starting to think, and I wonder what you think, Owen. I'm starting to think like, was it a mistake for Ineos to bring him in the midst of the season? I mean, I do understand that having Amorim in gives him an opportunity to see the team and know exactly who he's dealing with right now, so that's great. But I do worry that if the results keep going on like this, I just worry that as much as as much as I personally I want to back this manager and I plan to I'm really backing him and I believe in him, but I just worry that maybe if the results keeps going like this, that the fan base could turn, because I'm seeing some chatter. I'm just seeing chatter online, and it's not looking great right now. I wonder how you feel about that. Do you think it was
Yeah.
maybe he should have started the beginning of next season, because I know Amorim didn't want to leave Lisbon. He was very adamant about not wanting to leave in the middle of the season, but I guess Ineos kind of sweet talked to him to be like, we need you. And it was clear they brought him in so that we could salvage the season. But right now, the season is looking like a write-off.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what was said to him, when it comes to all of that, what the expectations were for this season. If they said, look, don't worry about this season, basically, we know you don't have your players and what have you, it's going to be fine. But when you keep losing games, things then get a bit testy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I do worry for him, but I think there has to be a turning point of a sign of backing of the manager, or in this case, the head coach, over the players. And I suppose this kind of turns it back to you, but do you think, because of how bad it is, do you think Ineos will have to find ways to operate in the January transfer window, or are they just going to wait till the summer and kind of go from there?
I think it depends on the targets. So I feel like if we have targets available that Ineos, the manager that everyone believes that actually like works into the system for the long term like goals of Manchester United, then I think, yeah, why are we wasting time? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to be optimistic. We still have the FA Cup. And there's still Europa. There's still Europa League. I'm just trying to be optimistic. I don't believe we'll win it, but you never say never. So I think if there are targets available to salvage something from this season, then I feel like it would be a mistake for Ineos not to capitalize on that opportunity. So I think if there are players available in January to get, I say go get them, so that at least we can see some improvements. For me, I look at the team and I would really love us to get a wing back and a striker. If I could just pick like two positions, I think we need an experienced striker. I feel like Hoyland is still young. I feel like there's too much pressure being put on Hoyland. Xerxes, I've said this before so many times. I don't look at Xerxes as your 9. I look at him like, how people use this new term, like the 9.5, like how people like to speak about the likes of, and I'm not saying he's Xerxes like these players, but like kind of like Jesus, Firmino sort of profile. I don't really look at him as the focal 9. So I really feel like we need an experienced 9 to come in, and I would love to see us get a wing back, because when I look at the team, I feel like, and my understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is that when Amorim plays wing backs, he prefers to play wingers to some degree, because I think maybe because of that attacking creativity ability that they have. So when I look at the team right now, we're playing fullbacks in that position, and I've always said this. I don't think Dalot is very good going forward. Anyway, I feel like that's a trait of his that's very overrated. I don't really think he's that great. And Mazzuari, as much as he's a great player, I don't think he has that in him too. So I feel like if we could just get a creative wing back that could come in and help with that, like creating chances, etc. Because now when I look at the next game, we don't have Bruno. So I'm now looking at the team like, where are we gonna get the creativity from? Like it's just looking it's looking very scarce. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the problem. Where's the creativity going to come from? Where's the goals going to come from? And we know the goals are going to come from the opposition team. That's Andre Onana. Big up GJE, as always, calling in. Super Chat here says, sorry, but unless Hoyland is scoring tap-ins against lower European teams, then he vanishes. At least Jackson for Chelsea contributes when he doesn't score. He costs 60+ million. Disgrace, not good enough. And that kind of appreciate the super chat there. It kind of, I think, sums up my point I was making before about the strikers, which is just they'll score a couple of games and then they're like, see, hold that, apologize. They won't score the next games and they're disgraced, get rid of them. The reality is that they're not to the level that Manchester United needs. But then a lot of the players aren't. A lot. Just a bit of a score update from Anfield. Liverpool 1-0 down to Leicester, but we can't even really do much about it, can we? We're fully into the territory of going, Liverpool losing, but we're 14th. we have no recourse, do we? We could laugh a bit at the City in that because they're like, 1 win in 13. We're not even that bad at the moment, but we're 14th. We're so far off it. It's just so bad. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Eminem. Merry Christmas. Not a merry one for the players. What are your thoughts?
Merry Christmas, Owen. That was just a crap game in general. Yeah, more of the pain, more of the storm that Amorim mentioned about a month ago. This was kind of just expected that we're gonna go through these issues. But I didn't think it'll be this bad. I thought it would be. I think we'll be seeing some positives. However, the players have been just playing utter crap, and obviously you've got the problems that are going on with the other players like Rashford, and now Malacia. Apparently, there's some issue there. But this game was so bad. The last 3 games have been really bad. Tottenham versus United game. We saw moments of chaos, which got us as goals. Against Bournemouth, we barely saw anything from the attack. And now today, it was the exact same thing. I think what we have in like Højlund and Xerxes, we have 2 different types of strikers where we need actually a combination of both. And that's where you got someone in like Jackson at Chelsea. We don't have that. And then we don't have players who know how to connect with each other. And I know we've not won a title in about 12 years. But the players like we had 5 years ago, they would be able to link up well, even in the bad times. We don't even have that now. And that's why we're seeing this utter rubbish of football at the moment. And I don't blame Amorim at all here. He is still like, he's been given a set of players which don't match his style. So this is actually based on recruitment. Ineos have brought in a manager who's a manager with players that doesn't match what he needs. So he's given different tools. You've given an electrician a tool set that a plumber would use essentially here. So people who are calling Amorim out, I mean, screw you guys. You guys, there's a big issue in the recruitment, and the players need to first be resolved first before you go on the manager again.
What do you make of Bruno? Obviously sent off once more. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because he shouldn't jump into the tackle. Dallo also with a short pass. What do you make of Bruno? And what do you make of, I suppose, the instant leading up to him getting sent off?
He was just so stupid. The first yellow card, I thought it was a bit harsh. Second yellow card, that was just completely on Bruno. That was just stupidity from him. He knew that he was on a yellow card and he did that. The whole left side was so awful today. I think that's one of the big reasons why it has been awful and has been awful for some time now, despite whoever plays in attack. So it could be Rashford or Garnacho there. But we don't have a left-footed left back there. That which already is a problem for us. And then you've got Dallo, who's been playing awfully this season. And then you've got Bruno, who shows up with this performance. And that itself was as Saeed would say, a net negative to our team today. And Bruno in general, I think he had moments where he could make a good pass, where he linked up well, but there were just moments. Most of the game, he was really, really off it. But I think there was also a combination with the whole entire midfield. I think Mainoo's passing was off. He'd sort of put Bruno in a bad spot, and Bruno would do the same with Mainoo. It was a combination of things which has been, I think it essentially was going to lead up. And that red card was not surprising to me. There was a few things off with Bruno today, and I think Amorim should have probably noticed that earlier, if I'm honest, maybe taking him off, but that red card was not surprising.
And then just finally moving forward, then where do the points come from? Where do the wins come from? Obviously, Newcastle next, Liverpool, then Arsenal. Are we is the storm going to continue for a while yet?
I think it's definitely going to continue. I don't know where the win's going to come from, but it needs to come fast. I don't want this to be a Graham Potter situation with Chelsea where Amorim comes in, he's not the right guy, and we just sack him straight away after like 3-4 months. I don't want that to happen. However, I maybe see him compromising his principles a little bit. In what I mean is like maybe not playing Xerxes or Højlund up front at all, and maybe using like a false nine, maybe putting Ahmad up front and having him as a false nine with Bruno and Garnacho or Anthony at in the inside 10 positions. Just something just to adapt a little bit, just to provide a little bit more, I guess, more link up, how players could just play put something together in the final third so they could actually create and score. We're not able to do that all at the moment, and that's one of our biggest issues. But I hopefully the Newcastle game, I'm going to give up already, to be honest. I'm going to tap out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily blame you with that one.
Yeah, but Southampton will win that. Southampton will win.
If Southampton will win that one, that's our little hope in the new year at some point. My goodness me. Big up to Eminem. Appreciate you calling in as well. We got 850 people watching. If you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get it to 300 likes on the way out. Fan view should be coming with from KG, also from an ill flex. You'll probably hear him actually when he does his fan view. It's he's under the weather, and I don't think this will probably make him feel much better. I don't know, a lot of people, to be fair, actually over Christmas have been ill, a lot of flu going around and all that kind of stuff. So take it easy. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. I know it wasn't a very good Boxing Day, but I hope we kept you company as best as we possibly could. What's going to be happening next couple of days? Well, I'm assuming there'll be a morning show tomorrow. I don't know if Flex will be on that because, again, he's still recovering. So it might just be me. So you can keep me company tomorrow morning. And then next game is Newcastle on the 30th, isn't it? On the 30th. And we'll be back then. It's a home game, so it should be a KO match for you. Not that that'll mean too much. The record, I think, is all over the place at this point. But you can join KG and myself for that one. As I said, hope you had a good Christmas and a good Boxing Day. And we'll speak to you again very soon. I'm out of here.